All right. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Honors Podcast. I am your host of the second season this year, Reed Wheeler, and today with me, I have a very awesome individual. Would you like to introduce yourself further?
Welcome to the Honors Podcast.
I'm Lillianna Allen, or some people call me Lily, so I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So introduce yourself further, including what are your majors, where are you from, and some kind of involvement of some things on campus.
Yeah, so I major in interior design and French. I'm from Texas, I guess. That's always a hard question for me to answer because I was born in Berkeley, California, but then moved to Colorado and then to Texas and now to Florida. So I'm from all over, but I would say the majority of my life has been in Texas. So
That was good. A lot of my family is from Texas, too.
What part?
Tyler, Texas. So a little southeast of Austin.
Yeah. Okay, I'm from Georgetown, so just
Okay.
north of Austin.
Nice. And then, one of my family still lives in Texas, and then
Okay.
just my family lives in Georgia.
Oh, gotcha.
So we
Okay, cool.
deflected. So that's fun. And then what
Yeah.
are you involved in around campus?
A lot. I guess the major highlights. This year I'm a senator in SGA, which has been really fun. I've really loved getting to learn about whole environment, and there's just so many cool things that SGA does that I'm honored to be a part of. Something I really love on campus and have done all 4 years has been ballroom and Latin dancing. So that's been really great. And since I've been on campus, we split the club in half. So we now have a social club, and now we have the club sports competitive club. So I do both, and it's been such a rewarding experience, and I love it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Here's a question that I've been contracted to ask by Dr. Hedman. What is the best meal to get on campus and at what time?
Oh, wow, what an interesting question. Best meal. Okay, I love Farmers, and I always go around lunchtime, so 11:30 noon-ish.
Yeah.
And their tacos are always so good. And their soup. I'm
Yeah.
always excited about their soup. So that's what I would say.
It's good. They added quesadillas to the taco section.
Yeah.
You can get chicken or cheese quesadilla.
Yeah, I
and they
saw
warm
that.
it up for you.
I know.
Love
They're
it.
they really I like how every semester we kind of come back and they add new things, and it's exciting.
It was fun. All right. Thank you for the introduction. Now let's get into it a little bit. I'm interested in your context. So what I mean by that is if your life is a story and college is your inciting incident, what's the exposition that happened before this that got you to your freshman year?
Well, I would definitely say that being homeschooled was a huge part of me coming to college, because when I graduated high school, I graduated a year early, and I thought I wanted to take a gap year because I really had no idea what I wanted to do. But I still went on a few college tours just to see, and my two older siblings went to college, so it felt like a step I wanted to take. I just didn't know when. But then I came and visited High Point kind of randomly. We were visiting other schools in the area, and my mom was like, why don't we just go and see it? We're right here. And I'm so glad I did that, because High Point specifically felt the most aligned with what I wanted to do, and just the person I wanted to be after I graduated from college. And it really felt like it would be worthwhile instead of me just going to college for the sake of going to college. And I think being homeschooled also kind of gave me that value of I want to go to school for a reason and a purpose, and not just waste my time and my money because it feels like the next thing you're supposed to do after you graduate high school. So yeah.
Yeah.
Did that answer that question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even before that, what was growing up homeschooled like? what did you do as a kid for fun and then also for school?
Yeah. Well, my education was very interesting and dynamic and very strange compared to most people, I think, because I started in like preschool and kindergarten in public school and then went to a charter school and then a private school. And then that, I think by third grade, I had really been homeschooled up through high school. But even that took several different forms because we did co-ops, we did the traditional dining room table my mom's teaching us, we had tutors, we had kind of a community college experience where I'd go to classes once a week and then come home and do homework for the rest of the week. So all of that kind of gave me a very unique perspective on education and how we learn and how we can learn to learn. So I think that also opened a lot of doors for me to do things that I could never have done if I went to public school. Like we got to travel a lot. That was part of our education. We would take trips to like Washington, D.C. to learn about history. Or one year we went to Israel and we spent like over a month and just had this incredible experience. So things like that were definitely like, I guess, my hobbies of like having these amazing educational experiences. And then other random things like, we took like cooking class and then we would, coincide with my cousins who also homeschooled and we'd do fun projects with them. And it was just a very, very dynamic learning experience.
Do you have a really fun topic or hobby that you got really into as a kid? Even if it was just like reading this really niche book series or something?
So I was really into like botany and birds specifically were like the two topics, which is very strange because I'm not a very science-minded person. I don't really ever think of myself as someone who enjoys science, but I really got into birds specifically because we lived on this really old 1880s house. It was like a farmhouse, and it was on an acre of land, but in the city of Georgetown. So it was very unique, and it had just this amazing backyard. Like, it had this, like, little mini forest and this humongous bush and then, like, a field, and it was like a dream world for a kid my age. And one day, my grandpa, he was in town visiting and staying with us, and he drove by this house, and they were selling this humongous chicken coop. Like, we call it the Taj Mahal of chicken coops because it was massive. It was like 2 stories, and it's like triangular shaped. It was really cool. So he got the chicken coop, and then we brought it onto our property, and then we had to like rebuild it. We had to build a fence so we could actually house the chickens, and it was this whole huge project that we like incorporated into our education of like learning how to build and learning about chickens and what it takes to raise chickens. And then some friends of ours gave us some chickens, so we had them for, I don't know, a month or 2. And I just loved learning about chickens. But then also I was really into like other birds, like cardinals was a really big deal. And I just have this vivid memory of having my like science book, and I'm sitting and I think I was like drawing or sketching like a bird nest, and I had found this cardinal's bird nest in our tree, and it had 2 eggs and then a baby bird, and I was watching it because I wanted to see like if the mom would come back and like how she fed the baby and if the eggs would hatch. And then one day I was sitting there and I'm watching the tree, and this snake is crawling up the tree to go eat the egg. And I scream and come running into the house. I'm like, Mom, the baby bird's gonna die. Like, the snake is gonna eat it. And honestly, I don't remember if it ever did eat it or not, but it was a very formative experience in my education.
Okay, that's awesome. How has something like that and then the homeschool experience overall made you a better or worse college student?
Oh, well, I think it's made me a better college student because I think I have a very curious mindset, and I'm, especially in the honors program, like, there's no subject that I don't find interesting or think that I can find interesting, even if I initially don't think it's going to be good. And that's exactly what the honors program is it's just exposing you to all these different conversations. So in that sense, definitely it's made me a better college student for this program at least. But I think it's made me a worse college student because I didn't really have like the traditional format of education. So I had to learn like how to write like a serious college research paper and like a lot of those very technical things that most people when they graduate high school know how to do. And that was a little bit trickier for me to adapt to. But I got there in the end, so I think it's okay.
Okay. What was the deciding factor for choosing High Point and then also for deciding to apply for the honors program?
Well, the deciding factor for High Point was honestly just how beautiful it was, but also the life skills aspect really stood out to me. Just the values of this university really aligned with my values, so I was very excited to find a school that had that. But the honors program specifically, I always will remember this. We were on campus touring. It was kind of a random day, and then we got to have coffee with Dr. Hedman, and we just had a great conversation, and he really bonded with my mom because he was from Seattle, and so is she, and so always just really loved talking to him and loved his kind of theology around education. So I got really excited about the honors program because it felt like kind of a piece of my education through homeschooling. So yeah, I think about that a lot. Like I think my experience at High Point would be completely different if I wasn't in the honors program. So I'm really grateful that I get to be in it.
Yeah. What would you say to other homeschool students interested in HBO?
I would say absolutely apply, absolutely come, and absolutely try to be in the honors program because it's probably going to be the closest thing to what you're used to in your education because it's very conversational. It's smaller classes even than the gen eds, so it feels like home.
Awesome. And then your majors, interior design and French. Mm-hmm. How did you eventually land on that?
Yeah, so interior design kind of, I guess, runs in my family, you could say. My sister also studied interior design. And then my two grandmas were home ec teachers. So it's just, yeah, it's definitely a part of my family. But I did not think I wanted to do interior design when I went to college. I was headed for the business kind of route. I was undeclared my first couple months because I really was not sure what I wanted to do. But I landed on interior design because I didn't realize how many different routes you can be in interior design. Like, you don't just have to be an interior designer. But although now I want to be an interior designer, but at the time I didn't. So I loved the creative aspect, but I also loved the psychological aspect of understanding how different people choose their preferences around design based off of their, personality, their life story, their heritage, all of that. So that's kind of what I've found out about interior design now and what makes me really excited about it. French, on the other hand, was a total wild card. Definitely had zero plan of doing that when I came, and even after my first year. But I took the required language credit and absolutely loved that class. It was Professor Hazen. She's no longer here, which is really sad, but she was just the nicest person and very encouraging to me, and I realized, wow, I like learning French, and I'm not terrible at it, so that was cool. But then I declared a minor, and then I studied abroad in Paris for a month, which kind of helped me free up some of my credits. And a lot of people told me you absolutely cannot double major in interior design because it's such a huge credit load. And so I kind of had that in the back of my head, but I think I was 4 or 8 credits away from a major in French versus a minor. And I was like, there's just no way. I can't be this close and not major in French. That's crazy. So I talked to Dean Turpin, and I talked to Dr. Leclerc, the chair of the French program, and I talked to Dr. Hedman, and I was like, okay, can we figure this out? Because, like, I really want to do this, and I'm this close. Like, come on, we have to do this. And they made it possible for me. So that was incredible, and it's been awesome to take French classes every semester.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have a similar experience with Chinese, like, no
Yeah.
plan of that. I had been studying it before, so, like, I had a base, and Dr. Hedman and colloquium was like, so, guys, languages. Pretty good plus there in the world. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then I took the required language class. It's like, this is nice. I miss this. And, like, there's just something about learning another language and exploring that whole other culture and, like,
Absolutely.
getting invested to, like, then go to that country and, like,
Yeah.
work there, travel there, whatever it may be. So,
Yeah. I also feel like learning a language is such a valuable skill.
yeah.
Because it's really a unique, like, learning process where you have to really, like, be disciplined to power through that, like wall you hit where you're, like,
It's
know enough
so
vocabulary, but, like, you can't speak it because you're just, like, you're nervous, but you're also, like, your brain just doesn't work that fast, but you can read it and you can understand it. And when someone talks to you, you can understand it. And that was so difficult. And I mean, I'm still hitting that wall sometimes, but it's gotten a lot better. And that was good for me to learn how to, like, just push through that and try to, like, overcome that.
Yeah. Did you get to practice at all while you were at the American University of Paris?
So I had a host family that spoke French, and some of them spoke English, but they were speaking French pretty much the whole time I was there. So that, I actually thought that would be more where I would practice my French. And I definitely improved a lot in my comprehension, but I would say I understood about 30% of what they said to me the whole month I was there because they just talk so fast and they have a whole different vocabulary from really what I was taught. So it was really challenging for sure. But I also think I was so nervous to speak French, especially when I went because I wasn't very advanced. So I probably didn't try as hard as I could have to really immerse myself and really challenge myself. But if I would go to a restaurant, I would try to order in French and, like, converse lightly in French. I try not to make myself look too American and try to use good pronunciation, but I think it was just too obvious that I was not fluent at all.
And what were you studying over there too?
So I was studying art history. It was this really cool class where I got to study art history, but my classroom was basically the Paris museums. So, like, we spent 5 classes in the Louvre, and so we had class, I think, Monday through Thursday, and then there was, like, a 4-hour class each day. And our professor was from Ireland, which was really awesome. And, yeah, so we went to the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay, I don't know, every art museum you can think of there, and it was absolutely incredible. So, very blessed to have that experience.
That's awesome. Because, like, I went to Prague and did that whole travel-y thing, and I feel like I've grown so much from that experience coming back here to an environment that, like, hasn't changed. But I don't know how, like, what changed about me. Like, am I just more open to the world?
Yeah.
Or, like, what is it, like, why do I feel so much more grown up now?
Yeah, that's really interesting because I think I relate to that because, like, I do feel like I am a different person in a sense than before when I studied abroad. But, yeah, I can't really pinpoint what changed. I do think traveling in general, though, just, like, it makes you a more confident person because if you can, like, function in a different country that speaks a different language, then, like, you just feel like, oh, well, it can't be that hard. Like, it can't be that far off. So I do feel like it kind of gives you a boost of confidence. Yeah.
Do you know who Elsie de Wolf is?
No.
She's a founding pioneer of interior design
Really?
from the 1920s.
I've never heard of her.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So she's kind of the pioneer for modern design. So,
Okay.
And she was kind of reminding me a lot of you. So Elsie de Wolf was the daughter of a Canadian doctor
Okay.
who, like, traveled to New York in the 1910s.
Cool.
And then she pursued a career in acting.
Wow.
And then had fun with that, and then switched over to interior design because she was sick of drab Victorian styles. So she did that, and then also became an author as well.
Okay.
And she kind of pioneered this aesthetic of moving away from like dark and drab Victorian to more brighter, simpler, less cluttered layout style, which
Okay.
was interestingly seen as making design more feminine, which is really
Interesting.
interesting. And she
Yeah.
talked about in her autobiography, and she called herself a rebel in an ugly world.
Oh,
So I was wondering,
wow.
how do you rebel against the world, either in your own design styles or as a person in society?
Interesting. Wow, that's crazy. I think it's actually so interesting that she's saying like rebelling from a, what is it, dark world?
She's a rebel in an ugly world.
Rebel in an ugly world, because personally, I mean, I think the Victorian era was pretty amazing. I like a lot of the style from the Victorian era, and I hope that we kind of go back to some of that more traditional style. So I think that's really funny that she's like, that was the ugly world, because now we're like in such a modern, like, I don't know, just cookie cutter like style that I'm like, this is the ugly world. What are you talking about? I would give anything to go back to that. But I guess how I rebel against that, I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience in getting to really rebel against it, but I guess like I did this project my junior year in interior design, and we did a hotel, and I designed it very much in like the French Baroque kind of style. I was trying to pull inspiration from a lot of that, and kind of the whole like, I guess, uniqueness about my project was there was a glass conservatory in the middle of the hotel that went from the first to the second floor, and it had like a atrium ceiling and then these like really pretty wrought iron walls and then a bunch of plants and a fountain in the middle. And so I don't know if this is rebelling against design, but I think it's like, I think we need to draw from the past a little bit and incorporate that into the more functional, modern, contemporary, because I feel like for so long it's been like you either have, you know, really amazing antiques and good style and historic design, and it's like the whole house is falling apart and you can't function in it and the rooms are tiny and like nothing works, or it's like you have this like very functional but very sleek and modern house, and it's like there's got to be an in-between. Like come on, we have so much technology now, like we can bridge the two. So that's at least what I want to do in the future.
That's good. What would you want to design? Like, what's the career specific with interior design that you're hoping to do?
Well, kind of discovered that this summer when I was doing my internship, but I really have come to love residential design. I think that's because it's more personal. Like you really get to know a client, get to know their family and their lifestyle, and then you're designing it around that. Versus commercial, it's way more broad. It's like you have to think about like, you know, lots of different people's perspectives and then design to meet all of those needs, which is a huge skill, and you must feel very accomplished after doing that. But it feels less personal and it feels less personalized. So I think residential is where I'm headed. But also like, you know, some small scale commercial like stores and things like that would be fun.
I'm keeping my eye out for like a reemergence of third spaces.
Oh.
Are you familiar with this concept?
Explain, because I think I know, but I want to hear what you think.
Society is split up into three spaces.
Okay.
The first space is the home.
Right.
The second space is the place of work. And then the third space is for public community gathering.
Gotcha.
There's been like, since the turn of the 20th century, like a decline in third spaces because that kind of merged with your workplace.
Right.
But then post-COVID, your workplace is now your home.
Right.
So now
we
has
have no
another
spaces,
space.
but the first space, yeah.
And like with the whole like loneliness crisis, epidemic, you hear all about that. One of the solutions people say is we need to bring back third spaces, like natural, free public gathering spaces where people can just naturally connect.
Right.
But not be forced to.
Right.
So.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I think that's really true because I'm all for like hospitality and like opening your home as kind of a third space and like making that a community gathering place. But I do think like there has been a decline in those like social spaces.
Yeah.
Like, I I'm a little biased since I do ballroom dance, but I think like we used to have dance halls. Like we used to have like community dance places where we could like all come together and like there's live music and that was like a social event.
I want to bring back sock hops.
Oh, yes.
Like my dad was telling me about that. Like, yeah, you just go and you take off all your shoes and leave it at the door, and like so everyone's just wearing their socks dancing.
Go have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think also like social spaces that are like libraries, for example, that aren't like so like generic in their sense of like this is a place where you come and read books and like, you know, there's like a little cafe and then there's like this resource center, but like integrating some more things, I think people are getting more creative. I've seen with like, I know we saw this in Prague actually. Did you go to that restaurant that was like, it's like a restaurant, but then they have like games and then people could just come with like large groups and just like play games together. I feel like there's a lot of that in Europe, but we don't have as much of that here in the US.
Yeah, they got it down in Europe, but here's like everything's so far apart from each other and people don't want to drive that far. So we just like put everything in our homes and have it for ourselves. Yeah,
that's so true. Yeah, even like movie theaters are kind of like declining in attendance because we have our own like home movie theaters. But like we're losing the aspect of like socializing, like going out. And even if you don't actually talk to someone, just like being around other people is really good for us. So yeah,
I will never forget when I went to go see Marvel's Endgame in theaters, and like I went to the opening night, and like the entire theater is packed, and like we are collectively watching this movie and like screaming and oohing and like crying from this together, and like I probably would not have been as emotional if I wasn't with other people.
Oh, that's so true. I don't cry for movies by myself.
No. Yeah, that's why I hate watching movies by myself. Like, there's so many movies I haven't seen, but it's just because I don't want to watch them alone.
Yeah. Well, I think there's something about, like, sharing joy that, like, it amplifies the experience because, like, I don't find things very funny by myself, you know? But, like, when I'm with someone...
It's hilarious.
It's, like, the funniest thing I've ever seen. So I think someone needs to study that. Like, what about being with another person makes things funnier, happier, sadder, like, whatever that is. I think it's interesting.
Absolutely. In preparation for the episode today, I was thinking about one of our other conversations about the spaces and interior designs. And then I was like, but why do we design spaces in the first place? Like, why is that something we do? Like, why don't we just have efficient rectangular buildings and rooms that are built for purely function? Which you kind of see that in modern design, but we still personalize it. We still decorate and stuff. And I was like, why do we do that?
Well, that's a really good question because I think sometimes interior design is seen as like a superficial like career because it's not like a necessary, so to speak. I mean, it's necessary that we design spaces, but it's not necessary that we put up wallpaper or like add these unique elements to it. But I think it's necessary because like aesthetics are really important to our lifestyle. And like we would live such boring, like uneventful lives if we didn't have aesthetics and if we didn't value design. And design is one of the gifts that we were created with to make things beautiful. And I think I guess, if I had like a mission in life, I would kind of frame it around that of like adding more beauty to the world because I think for so long we like stripped it to have like this functionality and it doesn't have to be that way. Like it only takes a little bit extra effort to make it functional and make it beautiful. And I think like I'm hoping that that's the balance we're getting to is the both and, you know? So, yeah.
Tell me more about the professional route you've taken. You mentioned a summer internship recently. How did you get that? Like, what were your other summers and jobs that you've had look like to help you get there?
So last semester, I did an internship during the spring semester, and you can like replace one of the studio classes you take in interior design by doing an internship. So I interned with Vivid Interiors in Greensboro. And they're a cool firm because they do residential, commercial, and they also do showroom design. So they come down to High Point and design the showrooms for Market. So that was a cool experience because for like half of the internship, I got to go to the showroom and help them design all of the different scenes and layouts, and it was really cool. So that was a very unique internship, and definitely it was my first design internship. So I learned a lot from them. And then this summer, I interned with Caitlin K Interiors in Palm Beach, and I found out about their firm because I was talking to Professor Inman, and he always just like raved about the Palm Beach style, and he was like, there's this hotel called the Colony that you have to check out, and he's like, it was designed by Kemble Interiors. So I did some research on Kemble Interiors, and then Caitlin worked for Kemble for 10 years, so I found out about her firm, and I applied to like 16 different design firms in the like South Florida area, and then I applied to Caitlin K Interiors kind of as like, oh, that's a long shot. Like if I get that, that's gonna be incredible. Like that was like my dream. But I was like, let me apply to these other firms that feel a little bit more like in my wheelhouse and like they're doing more projects that I'm familiar with. And then Caitlin and her team, they were the first to respond to me, and I was absolutely blown away. I was like, wow, this is such a dream come true. I was so excited, and it was everything I ever hoped for and more. They were just the coolest team, and I loved working in Palm Beach. They did like photo shoots of residences they had done, which was so cool, and a whole like side of design that I didn't even know existed. And so yeah, I just had a blast. I honestly, like, part of me didn't even want to come back to school. That's how much fun I was having. But now that I'm back, I'm glad that I came back.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. Well, that was great. That's awesome.
Thank
Excited
you.
to see how the rest of your senior year and then career goes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
you.
being with me today.
Thank you
We're
for
going to
having
wrap
me.
out with the journal question.
Okay.
So the last guest on that podcast from last season
Yeah.
has left a question for you to answer.
Okay.
And then you will leave a question for the next guest.
Perfect.
All right. The previous guest would like to ask you, what is your favorite honors memory?
Oh. That's hard. There's so many. I think Prague, for sure. Prague was such a special month, and it was just really, really cool to spend a whole month together in a different country, especially Prague, because Czech is very difficult to learn, so it was very, very foreign. But it was just amazing to like explore things together and just experience a very different culture. And the class I took it with Jay Putnam, and I was fantastic and really catered to some of my strengths of like sketching and journaling. So yeah, that's definitely like the top honors memory for me, I think.
Yeah. Did you have a specific moment like, I'm so glad I'm in the honors program. This is amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, that was like freshman year. I lived on the first floor, and like the first floor, it's kind of because the lobby's in the middle, like it's like left side and right side. So I was on the right side, and we all got to know each other really well. And there was like, I forget what event they were hosting in the lobby, but I just remember it was like one of the first days of me being there, and we were all in the lobby chatting, getting to know one another. There was like food, and Dr. Hedman was there, and Dr. Lepowski, and it was just like such a warm, cozy feeling of like, wow, what a special community of people committed to like educating themselves and being curious about each other and all of these different topics. And that was definitely a moment where I was like, wow, like, and it just felt so special because like I don't think everyone has that experience on this campus, which is sad, but it's also like reinforces why the honors program isn't just an academic like stamp on your resume. It's like an experience. It's a community. So yeah.
There you go. Well, thank you. I'm going to pass this over to
Okay.
you, and you can leave a question below over there,
Okay.
and we'll wrap up the podcast.
Amazing.